So a while back, I had just finished a large project at university. I wanted to continue working on a different project. I have a lot of trouble winding down, going from doing something every day to having nothing to do the next day. It makes me lose my mind. My master's project is probably going to be a Unity game. So let's just practice and make a small, achievable Unity game that I can finish now. So I wanted to make a 2D game with the intention of finishing it. But I did not have an idea, so I needed to seek inspiration. So I went to itch.io and I had a look at their art assets. And I found these little guys, 4 animated little pixel art dinosaurs. They were complete with walk cycles, jump animations, and an attack animation. The idea I came up with, looking at these, was a puzzle platformer where you switch between these 4 dinosaurs and you can jump on top of each other to reach higher places. So the dinosaurs have to work together in order to complete the levels. And this would be a puzzle platformer, and the puzzle is level traversal. In my mind, this was the first step towards this idea. If I could create this, then I have a proof of concept of what I want the game to be. The hardest part of this idea, and the bit that I was most worried about, was making levels. I don't want to be placing these tiles bit by bit. I need something better than that. So I looked towards making the dynamic tile rule set. What is a dynamic tile? Well, if you want a 1x1 tile, it's just a tile and it has an edge around it. But let's say you're going to put a tile right next to that tile. You don't want that edge in the middle of them. You want them to be connected. So that's where a dynamic rule tile is really useful. I have to admit, creating the dynamic tile was really difficult because the tile set didn't include every permutation of the tiles, so I had to go out of my way to make more tiles. I actually came up with a workflow for this. I created a Photoshop file where I could switch off the edges around the tile and also add custom corners to the tiles. Basically, creating a tile set was very, very challenging and took a lot of time. I made it so the background has 2 layers, a complete background and then something slightly closer. So what I do is that I poke holes to reveal the darker background so I can create interesting shapes. I also added some level decorations such as this random brush that creates vegetation and another brush that paints tiles. So now I can have much more interesting looking levels. There are a whole load of how to create a 2D platformer in Unity videos, so any of them will probably get you quite far. So very quickly I managed to get my character moving and jumping around on a platform. Of course you can see that there are no animations, so we'll get to work on them straight away. Using the sprite sheets, I started making the animations in the timeline, and before you know it, everything looked a hell of a lot better. One of the first things I noticed is sometimes I'd be walking and I'd just straight up get stuck. I'd just stop dead, my character would continue being animated, but I wouldn't be going anywhere. And what that is the corner of the character's collider is being stuck on the tile map collider, which is really annoying. The quickest way to fix this is to give your character a rounded collider, so a box collider with a radius so the corners are rounded. This seems to make it better, but honestly I'm not convinced that this is a real fix, but I can't find any other way to do it. Hopefully in newer versions of the Unity, this isn't a problem. So because this is a 2D physics puzzle platformer, essentially, physics being kind of the key word, I wanted to make sure that the game had some physics. So I created a box, courtesy of Kenny's assets, and I got the dinosaur pushing around a box. There appeared to be a problem. If I jump onto the box and then move around, I am now riding the box around. So what's happening here is the character is moving horizontally and dragging the box with it. The reason for this is that the dinosaur has friction, and the dinosaur having friction causes all sorts of problems, including if I jump at a wall, I will stick to it. By giving the character no friction, this fixes both these things. I can push around a box, I can jump on it, I can walk off of it, and when I jump at a wall, I no longer stick to the wall. But because I've given the character no friction, it causes another problem in the fact that if I put a box on the character's head, when I move the character, it just slips out straight from under the box. The solution is to give different parts of the character's body different frictions. There's only really 2 states of friction. Some friction and no friction. The head needs friction sometimes and doesn't need friction other times. For example, if you're carrying a box on your head, you need friction. but if a dinosaur is walking around on your head, you need no friction. And the feet also need friction if the character is being carried by another character, but it needs no friction if it's moving around. This got rather complicated, but I got it down and I got a script. So now I can jump over a box, I can push the box, I can jump at a wall, slide off, and also I can put a box on the character's head and it will carry the box. If the character's carrying a box and they jump, they can slip out from under the box, so they can use a jump to get out from underneath a box. Box physics are all well and good, but if you look at our mock, what we're trying to do is create a game with multiple characters that we can switch between that can physically interact. So, 4 characters that are identical. So, all of these have the same properties, but as it stands, if we played this, they'd all move around at the same time. So what we need is a way to switch between them. So what that really means is I created something called a level manager, and what the level manager is it sits in the level, and it has a reference to each of these dinosaurs, as well as it has a setting for the current one. And all the code really does is it deactivates all of them, but it will activate the one that you want. What we have here is a reference to each dinosaur, and then we have a variable for the current playable dinosaur. And the method we use is that we deactivate all of them on load, and then we choose one to be activated. The controls for this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 will send you to the green one, 2 will send you to the red one, 3 will send you to the yellow one, and 4 will send you to the blue one. As well as I have a cycle forwards button, and that just happens to be L, so I can loop through the dinosaurs instead of remembering these. By default, we play as dinosaur 1, I can press 2 to move to the next one, 3, and 4, and then I can also press L, which happens to be the key I set up to loop through them. And also, as you can see, the camera retargets to the current character. So the moment of truth is, can we get these dinosaurs over here? So let's move the dinosaurs in such a fashion that they create a set of stairs, and boom, 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 we did it. What I can also do is I can jump on a dinosaur, switch to that dinosaur, and carry a dinosaur around. Let's just try and make 1 by 1 stairs. Oof. One dinosaur is capable of carrying all the other dinosaurs, but they're a bit heavy, so it's a bit slow. I do think that this game could probably do with collectibles, that as you unlock more dinosaurs, it means you can go back and reach higher places that you couldn't before. I think that would increase replayability. I've worked on this game quite a lot. The game has vines and vegetation and moving platforms and spikes, and I made it so where you last jumped, if you get killed, that's where you'll respawn. Also, if you press K, you kick, so I just kicked a box, and this door will send me to the next level. Now, what I want to do is unlock different dinosaurs at different stages. So what I did was I created these cages that I put the dinosaurs in, and you can move them around in the cage, but they can't get out of the cage by themselves. They need another dinosaur to break their cage by kicking it. And then you have these dinosaurs unlocked, which means when you go to the next level, those dinosaurs come with you. I think that is way more than enough for the first devlog of this series. I imagine if you got this far in the video, you're quite fond of the idea of Dino Dungeon, and you can morally support me by liking, retweeting, upvoting, sharing, however you found this video. I am actually a little bit scared of showing Dino Dungeon in this capacity, because I have put so much of my soul into it. It's a little passion project about the importance of working together, even if you're cold-blooded lizard people. You can also morally support me via my Discord server, and anyone can join my Discord server. You could actually financially support this project by joining my Patreon. I am also open to any and all suggestions and advice when it comes to my Discord server or Patreon tiers. This early on, they're probably subject to change, and I'm grateful for anyone who's willing to give me $1. Special shout out to Fred Bucks, who makes all the music for Dino Dungeon, and all the music you've heard in this video. You can check him out in the description below. Thank you for watching. I have plenty more to show you with this project, honestly. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and if you are, consider slapping that bell button and becoming a bell end today. I'll catch you next time.